Having a great qualifying time can be of tremendous value if you want to win a race, but most people forget to optimize those valuable laps and use their normal racing line. In this video, we'll explain why you should treat qualifying laps differently than race laps, how to find the best strategy on different tracks, and at the end, we'll go over some strategies at specific tracks which you can immediately apply to increase your qualifying potential. So why shouldn't you use your racing strategy during qualifying? Well, in a race, you're trying to stay ahead of the competition. All parts of the tracks are equally important until you finish the race. You've got to maintain speed, maybe even use defensive racing lines to stay in front of the competition. But during qualifying, this all does not matter. What does matter is how fast you can get around the track in one single lap, which means you can take your time to set yourself up for a tremendously fast start. And what happens after the finish line is also not as important as how fast you get there, which means you can give yourself the best chances to start your lap with as much speed and the best racing line as possible, and end it as quickly as possible as well, because you don't have to worry about your entry into turn 1 after your qualifying lap is done. Now let's see how we have to change our thinking to optimize our qualifying laps. We'll focus on starting our laps first. Now what you've got to think about is getting over that starting line with as much speed as possible and with the most amazing entry into turn 1. Let's take Montreal as an example. Coming out of the last chicane, we want to make our way to the starting line as long as possible so we can build up the most amount of speed, but we don't want to compromise our turn 1 entry by having to steer too much. Coming out of the last turn, we want to cross the starting line in the middle of the track, which optimizes our starting speed and entry into turn 1. Now when this lap comes to a close, we don't really care for T1 anymore, as it is behind the finish line, which means we can take the fastest way to the finish line without having to worry what comes after. We can stick to the right side of the track after that last chicane, giving us the shortest distance to the finish line. Now let's go over some other examples to give you a taste of what is possible, but soon enough you'll see a pattern emerge. We're heading over to Monza, where we want to start our lap by coming out of Parabolica and moving all the way to the left so we can maximize our starting speed. When our lap comes to a close, we want to come out of Parabolica at full throttle, but as far to the right as we can manage. In the track tighten analysis, we can see this as well. By keeping the car to the right, we can lay down a faster lap time than the reference lap. At Monaco, we want to do the same thing. We want to stick to the middle on the main straight to give ourselves enough distance to build up that speed before starting the lap and to optimize our entry into turn 1. But we want to stick to the right when finishing the lap, because that's the shorter distance to the finish line. And we see the same thing again when we look at the track tighten racing line analysis. At Spa, we can set the car up a bit cheeky, because you slow down so much through the bus stop. We want to take a wide line through there, so that we can accelerate as much as possible in a straighter line before we start our lap. And when we come to finish, we want to get through the bus stop as fast as possible, as you would in a race. As you can see, every track has its own ways to optimize your qualifying laps, but a general rule remains: build up as much speed before you start your lap and end it as quickly as possible. Don't take the scenic route. We hope this video has inspired you to try out some new qualifying strategies or find your own, and let us know in the comments down below what secret tactics you've learned in your F1 career. Be sure to check out the Track Titan platform in the description below, and thanks for watching.